Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lan Party Show. And once again, I am joined by my good friend Sam Martinez. How's it going, Sam?
It's going pretty well.
Right on. So it's been a few months since I've had you on. Last time I had you on, it was for Spider-Man. What have you been up to?
Well, I've been pretty much just working and playing God of War.
Okay, so that brings up today's major topic, which is God of War. So as of the recording of this video, we are just under a week away, or we are just over a week away from the year anniversary of its release. And it is my intention to post this episode on the 20th of April. So, I got God of War at the opening night launch, and I fell in love with it immediately. And you and we were working together at the same time.
Yes.
And I kept telling you, go get this game, and you did.
Eventually.
I think you got it like a month after it was released.
Probably, maybe a little bit more.
Give or take,
yeah,
something like that. So, and I was like, I kept badgering you at work. Have you played more God of War? Have you played more God of War? And you're like, no, I'm playing Fortnite.
And other games too, but
it's mostly Fortnite. And so about a week ago, I hit you up, and you're like, I finally beat God of War. And I'm like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, and if you hear some extraneous noise, homie Andrew's over there getting food. So if there's any extra noise, homie Andrew's over there. But what did you think? Tell me your thoughts about God of War.
Okay, so when I first started playing it, I thought it was pretty sick. It was pretty amazing. You were hyping it up, and I feel like it was rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of stopped playing it because Spider-Man came out. So I switched over to Spider-Man because I love Spider-Man. I'm a Marvel fan and a comic book fan. And so I ended up finishing that. And my original thoughts were, I think Spider-Man should have won Game of the Year.
But you never beat God of War.
Yeah, but that's before I beat God of War.
Right.
Until I finished the story. I still got to finish, kill the Valkyries and stuff like that.
Okay, but you beat the main story.
I beat the main story.
Right.
And oh my God, this game blew me away.
Right.
And it sucks because I'm a hardcore Spider-Man fan.
Right.
And
as am I.
But I didn't want to be biased, and I can see why this game won Game of the Year.
Right. Exactly. It's too good. Like the game for me, it was so good that the moment I beat it, I started a brand new game right away. Literally, like with
the Game Plus.
No, and this was before New Game Plus, so I basically started completely fresh. So when the game initially released, I beat it, and homie Andrew can attest to this. I beat it. You know, I think I spent like 30 hours on my first playthrough, and then I was like, this game is too good. I got to play it again. And I started it over again with the intention of going for the platinum.
Right.
Which I did. I did eventually platinum it. It was my very first platinum.
Now, how long did that take you?
How long did it take me to do the platinum again?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it took me probably about another 30 hours because, one, I had already beaten the game. I knew where everything was. I did a majority of this. I did probably about 75% of the platinum requirements in my first playthrough. So it was just a matter of, and that, that includes, the story and side missions and this, that, and the other. So I mostly had to go back and repeat a few things, and then add on top of those, such as like doing the Muspelheim challenges, the Niflheim challenges, along with getting all those damn ravens and all the collectibles. So, but I quote unquote cheated getting those because I used guides to help me get those. I personally don't think that that's cheating. In the day and age with the internet, you use everything that you can at your disposal to help you get where you want to be. But yeah, I thought it was really, I had to play it again. But once I did it the second time, I was like, okay, I've 100%ed this. and it's time to give it a break, which I did. I gave it. I haven't played it much. I meant to play it this month, but I just got caught up playing Persona 5. I've been playing Persona 5 for fucking 85 hours now.
Whoa.
Yeah, April was supposed to be God of War month, but I got just entangled with Persona 5, but we can probably get into that a little later. But so are you going to try to go for the platinum for God of War?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that right away, because my goal for the year is to play a bunch of these games that I missed out on, which
we all say that. My backlog is like 10 games large right now, and it still has been adding because I've bought in like 3-4 games in the past couple of weeks, but I'm still on Persona 5, so like I've got like even more games just building up in my backlog, but like I hope that we can all get to those backlog games eventually. Did you get the platinum for Spider-Man?
No, I didn't.
You should go back and get the platinum for Spider-Man is probably the easiest game that you can. I mean, like, there's don't get me wrong, there's easier games to get a platinum on, but Spider-Man is incredibly easy to get a platinum on. I'm trying to think like what the hardest thing to do for platinum in that game. I don't know. It was all finding all the. No, you didn't even have to get the secret pictures to get the platinum. I don't even remember what the hardest platinum was. Hardest trophy was to get for Spider-Man, but that's besides the point. So, just tell me, like, we're trying to keep on the God of War hype here. What when you beat it, what were you thinking when you finally completed the game? Oh, and by the way, sorry to interrupt. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, but the game
we're about to get into it.
The game has been out for a year. If you haven't played it already, I'm sure you already know what goes on in the game, but spoiler alert nonetheless.
Well, I mean, at the very end, there's a huge twist.
Right.
With or a reveal, I should say, which was that Atreus is Loki.
Right.
Which I was like shocked.
Right.
Like completely shocked. But honestly, like if you go back and play the game again, I'm sure you catch on to some of the...
There's Norse mythology hints.
Yes.
Such as like, can I turn into a wolf?
That was the first thing that clicked to me once I heard the line that his name was Loki. It was the wolf. I'm like,
because his children are
the wolves and the serpent snake.
The serpent snake. Now there's a lot of it's interesting that you mentioned the serpent snake because there's actually like I think there's other
serpent.
World serpent. Yeah, the world
serpent.
There's like other like fan theories as to what the world serpent is, and like some people have said like, oh, it's actually Kratos and all of this other nonsense.
Really?
But the world serpent is Loki's son, right?
Right.
In Norse mythology,
yes.
or in some version of it. Because Cory Barlog has gone on record saying that there's many different. Who's the game director, and he said that there's many versions, and it all kind of gets jumbled up, and it just is up to you to decide. And I'm going off quote when I say that it's up to you to decide which one is the right mythology because it's so old. Whatever. So go ahead and continue.
But yeah, that was the first thing. Like I was just shocked and my mind was just blown. But and also you kind of realize that the mother had gone through the whole entire journey.
Yeah.
When you see like her handprint on there, and then like honestly that didn't even click while I was playing the whole game.
Well, it's in if you listen to specific dialogue when you're doing that final trek up to put the ashes, even Loki says, "Look, these are mothers."
Yeah.
These are mothers. So it's like at that point, if you're smart enough to kind of catch on to it, you'll realize in that given moment that she's been guiding your way the entire time. And some people didn't realize that that was actually the case until like I think Cory Barlog was on the kind of funny games cast, and he said that, and some of them on there were like, what? But yeah, if you just listen to Atreus's dialogue, he just says it right there that the mother was guiding them the whole way.
Yeah, and I was pretty bummed too that I finished the game because
Exactly.
I wanted so much more. You know,
Yeah.
I still want more.
Have you gone back to the house yet?
Yes.
You have gone back to the house.
Yes.
Okay, good.
The secret ending.
Good.
Dude, that was crazy.
That was pretty cool. So now the long, the hopefully not too long of a wait to.
It might honestly, like, as much as I want it now, I want them to take their time.
Yeah.
And make sure they do it right.
And that's something definitely that I've started doing more in like my later years. Is like it's like I'm okay with game delays. I'm okay with games taking their time because they need to be especially now, like a lot of gamers are entitled pricks, and I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm going on record to say that a majority of gamers are entitled pricks, and they demand perfection right away. Yeah. And some games require perfection right away, and I think that God of War needs to be perfect, right? God of War 5, whatever it is, it needs to be perfect right away.
I agree.
So, what in the so you beat it like a couple weeks ago?
Yes, I did.
And have you played any more of it since then?
No, not yet, because it's kind of hard for me to level up. In the game, and I was.
Well, what do you have in? Well, like, explain to me. Maybe I can.
Well, I'm still level 5, which is pretty low.
Oh yeah, you need to be like level. You need to be high 7, low 8 to take on the Valkyrie Queen.
Exactly.
And you're playing it on. You're playing it on like the medium difficulty, right?
Yes.
Well, no. There's easy, moderate, and like hard, right? And then like hardcore or something like that. Because you told me that you started it a step up from where I started it.
Yeah, but I had to drop it back down.
Oh, you did?
It was pretty difficult.
Okay, so yeah, I'm barefoot. I don't care. Yeah, you gotta be. The game can easily be beat at level 4. Like you could beat at level 4, level 5. But yeah, you need to go back and get. I'm trying to think. You make sure that both of your weapons are fully upgraded, and you got to get the Infinity Gauntlet. You need to get that leveled up entirely, because that will help you. Because have you gone to fight any of the Valkyries?
Yeah, I fought the first one. The second one is where I realized, shit, I can't do this.
Yeah, they're hard. They're hard. Yeah, you need to be. Yeah, I think to take them on, you got to be at least level 6. I'm trying to think. Want to know how you level up? Is you go into go to Niflheim.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you get the armor. Yeah. The armor sets in Niflheim, and me personally, I spent 2 weeks fighting the Valkyrie Queen. Damn. And when I say two, it maybe not necessarily 2 weeks fighting the Valkyrie Queen, but what it was is I fought her like 20 times, maybe even more, and I just kept dying. I kept dying and I kept dying and I kept dying and I kept dying. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not hurting her or killing her? I mean, I was hurting her plenty and I was getting close. And then I realized that you need to hit her with, what is like, what kind of like armor set do you have? Is it like strength? Is it like runic? Like what kind of armor?
It's mostly strength.
It's mostly strength. You got to switch that shit to runic and use your ability, use those special like axe and blades ability, and maybe we'll get in those have you played any of the other God of Wars?
No, but I did watch some videos kind of like talking about the story.
Yeah, so we'll get to that, and we'll get to some of the more story elements here in a minute. But with the Valkyrie Queen, you need to switch your gear set to runic, so that way your cooldown, your runic and your cooldown and stuff like that. You need it, so that way you're just constantly hitting her with those like special abilities. And you can do that with the the Niflheim runic set. I forgot what it's called, but you could do that with that. What I did was I had pure strength. I was just completely strength going into the fight, and then I had to spend like another 2 weeks going back, back to Niflheim and just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding to get the gear sets, to get the I forgot what the currency is called in there. What do you remember
Mist of Echo.
Mist? Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. The
Mist.
Echo Mists. Something like that. So I highly recommend going back and getting that runic.
Right on.
But if you can beat her with strength, fantastic, because
I doubt it because I couldn't even beat the second one.
That's
Yeah,
right.
like,
Okay,
I'm
that's right. You still need to get the other Valkyries.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, I had a tough time. I was on Muspelheim.
Oh,
That's the one I couldn't beat.
you couldn't beat her?
No.
Yeah.
That was my second Valkyrie.
Maybe what you could do is you can beat them all with the strength build. You can beat, but like I found that Sigrun herself could not be beat with a strength set, and so that's just me personally. I don't know. So back to kind of the story. I had played some of the other God of Wars. I played God of War 1 back when it was originally released, and then I think when God of War 2 came out, I was like, I was still in high school and I was playing like some other games and things like that. So I didn't really play that one much. I played a little bit of God of War 3. But still, like the Blades of Chaos, it's something that's kind of like, I find that every console era, whatever, certain characters pop up with certain things that become kind of iconic to whether it be that story or even with like the system in general. And PlayStation has a bunch of different characters that have like their iconic stuff, and Kratos is included in those iconic characters that's on the PlayStation. And with Kratos comes his Blades of Chaos. And a lot of people were like, are the Blades of Chaos going to be in God of War? Are Blades of Chaos going to be in the new God of War? And everyone was saying no, it's just the Leviathan axe, it's new. And then
apparently you could kind of spot them when in the beginning of the scene or the game.
It's definitely, I mean, I'd have to go back and watch that scene again, but it's definitely implied that they're down there.
Well, yeah, I remember watching an interview with what's his name again?
Corey Barlog.
Yeah, he pretty much said it himself. Like, yeah, you can kind of see them. It's not like
it's not right there in the open, but like if you're paying attention, like it's
Yeah.
obvious that there's something down there.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that was really cool when he came out and he just started fucking shit up.
Even just like honestly, I like the whole cinematography of him just going back.
Oh, that's like one thing that's just great about that game. It's just just like it's a movie in itself.
It is.
It's
a lot of these games are. That's why I'm really loving them.
They're all these games. They're all like it's almost like it's becoming a really great storytelling way of telling stories with video games. It's fantastic. And last year we got two great like very cinematic games in God of War and Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so far this year's been okay. Have you got any new games this year?
Yeah, but I just recently purchased Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's last year.
But that's last year.
That's last year.
Devil May Cry 5.
Devil May Cry 5. I got that too. I haven't gotten too far into it, but it's pretty good. But right now, as of now, like nothing to me, nothing is super standing out except for Resident Evil 2.
What about Sekiro?
Sekiro?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sekiro. Oh, Sekiro is great. I mean, I'm not far into it at all. I'm only like maybe like 2 hours into the game.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
I know, dude.
Sekiro
there's so many memes about it.
And there's a lot of and Sekiro has stirred up some debate, and it started this debate in the gaming community right now about like accessibility and making games more available to everybody. And like,
well, what do you think of that?
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm all for, I want people to be able to play video games. I'm a huge, I'm a gamer, and I want I want to be able to experience these games with others, even if they're not heavy into gaming. However, I believe in oh man, sorry, I got this fucking itch. I believe in that a video game developer should be allowed to make whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you can go, I'm trying to find the words, and it could be said about anything like movies, music, television, video games. The creator of whatever it is that they're working on should be allowed to write and direct and distribute, what they find to be their art. I'm kind of getting lost in my words here, but you probably get the gist of what I'm saying. That so From Software, it is within their in my opinion, it is within their artistic right to create the game that they want to create. And if you can't handle it, then sorry. But at the same time, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm kind of in the middle in that discussion, and because yeah, trust me, I would like those games to be easier. Don't get me wrong, I'd like to be able to play the game and have it be easier, but I understand what From Software was trying to do. Mm-hmm. And at this point in the game, people need to understand that if you're playing a From Software game, you're gonna get fucking butchered.
Yeah.
Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, like they have a track record of producing these difficult games, and you need to understand that now that From Software just does that. So what about you? Like, where do you like?
I don't have that game yet.
But have you played any other From Software? Have you played Dark Souls or Bloodborne? They're hard. It's no joke. But do you want to be able to go in and play the game and be like, okay, well, I can handle this and beat it. I want to have an easy mode. Like, do you want that in that kind of thing, or do you think that it's like, well,
that's, yeah, that is an interesting question because take Spider-Man for example. Mm-hmm. I love the story in that one, but I felt like it was pretty easy to beat. I wish it was more difficult, but a part of me does. Like, I am kind of grateful that I wasn't, because I got through the story pretty quickly.
Well, you can up the difficulty on it.
Yeah, well, I had the highest difficulty on it.
You beat it on highest difficulty?
Yeah, I think what is it called? Spectacular or something like that. But yeah, I beat it on the highest difficulty. Okay.
It goes easy, normal, spectacular, right?
Something like
initially, and then they added ultimate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they added ultimate. Ultimate was fun. I did ultimate on New Game Plus.
Oh, okay.
That was a lot of fun. I did ultimate on New Game Plus, and I got 100% on that too.
Nice.
So I've completely 100% of that game to everything. But yeah. So okay. So you were asking me about Sekiro just initially. So it's great. It's really cool, and it's hard, and I do plan on going back to it. It's one of those games that don't ever feel ashamed for going and looking at videos of other people playing it, because when you watch other people playing it, you're like, okay, well, I get it now. Like, I get what I'm supposed to do. And my initial problem that I was having with it was like, my thing was like, okay, well, I'm just kind of running in and just trying to hack and slash everything, and you can't do it with that game. You got to learn how to block, because the game is designed around this thing called I forgot the words for it, but basically, people can correct me, but like, let's just call it, your stance. You got this bar that tells you how like you're maintaining your overall just kind of like durability or whatever, and so do your enemies. And so when you block them, when you parry them, they're kind of tossed off balance a little bit. And once that bar fills up, you can then do a finishing move on them. And that is what will deplete a majority of their health. Right. So you got to learn how to, and I'm not doing the description of this game any justice right now because I haven't played it that much. So I recommend going and watching some videos yourself and checking it out and see if it's something that you want to play. But it's really cool. It's like I think the concept is really neat. I've been wanting to play as like a samurai. I mean, he's a shinobi. I don't know much about Japanese culture. I don't know what a shinobi is. I don't know if they'd be considered
Never seen Naruto? Come on.
No, I've never watched Naruto. So I don't know if a shinobi is a kind of samurai, but like they have a samurai sword. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been wanting to play as a samurai, with the samurai sword for a long time.
Yeah.
And this game will allow you to do that, but it's really difficult.
Isn't there another game too that's kind of similar, like feudal Japan type of thing?
There's one coming out soon.
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called because there hasn't really been much of Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Ghosts of Tsushima. Yeah, that looks really pretty. And I think that character is a samurai, but I don't know. I don't know anything about Japanese culture to that extent. Were you ever a fan of Dragon Ball Z growing up?
Dude, how can you even ask that?
Okay, so the other day, and I know this is a gaming podcast, but we're gonna get a little off topic.
I've even had shirts at work.
That's right, you have. Okay, I feel like a fucking asshole now. So the other day, so about a month ago, Funimation announced that they're gonna release like this really awesome 30-year anniversary collector's box thing of all X amount of seasons of Dragon Ball Z, and it's gonna have like 37 discs and all this cool content. And there's gonna be like, if you bought it within a certain time frame, you're gonna get like a certificate of authenticity with the number of like produced. So I bought it, and it cost me $350. And it gets released and it gets released in November. I think it gets shipped in November. So I dropped like $350 the other day to buy this really cool collector's box. And I'll and during this video, when I post it, I'm going to have various things pop up on screen, and I'll post a picture of it. During the running of this video, it's really cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff on it. So back to gaming. So, if you want to try a hard game, try that, or try Bloodborne. If you want to get it, like Bloodborne, I think is probably the easier of the From Software games.
Okay.
Bloodborne's a lot of fun. If you haven't played Bloodborne, you should play Bloodborne.
All right, I'll definitely put it on my list.
And if you do get it, let's play.
I'm down.
Yes, let's play Bloodborne. I have been trying to find people to play Bloodborne. if anybody's watching and you want to play Bloodborne, hit me up, because I fucking love Bloodborne. I love Bloodborne a lot. I've never beaten it, but I love the aesthetic of it. It's really neat. So have you hopped on? Have you played? So, man, we were supposed to talk about God of War, but it's okay. We can go back to God of War. I'm kind of curious to see if you've played any other games that have come out this year. But have you played like Kingdom Hearts 3 yet? Is that on your list?
It is on my list.
It is on your list?
I'm just trying to, because it's so backed.
It's so backed
that I'm trying to catch up, so that's why I'm playing. I'm going to play, I have started Red Dead.
Dude, don't even bother with Red Dead Redemption. I don't know why. Okay, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand I get it. There was hype around that game because the first one was so good, but in my opinion, Red Dead Redemption 2 is not as good as the first one.
But you haven't finished it yet.
I haven't finished it yet, but the problem is I have this sort of thing. I have this sort of like philosophy that I try to, like, when it comes to me like engaging in something. For example, with books, right? Mm-hmm. With a book, I need the book needs to capture me within the first 30 pages. Okay. So with video games, the game needs to capture me within X amount of hours, and Red Dead Redemption 2 did not capture me within those first. I felt like the intro. The two. Have you done the intro yet?
Yes.
So where you're in the mountains for like 2 hours. 2 hours of gameplay, I'm like, this is just dragging on. Like, I get what they're trying to do, and I get it, but it's not particularly my thing, and I don't want to. And the thing is, like, I also don't want to tell other people that it's bad, because it's not bad. It's an artistic.
It's just not for you.
It's just not for me.
Yeah.
And I also and I know that like maybe perhaps if I get further into the game, I'll appreciate Arthur a little bit more. But I don't really like Arthur as a person. And I know that I know that the game, with the game being like harsh, the emphasis on redemption, and each character has their own, whether it be John Marston in Red Dead Redemption 1 or Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. I understand that they all have their own road to redemption, but the thing is like he's kind of a douchebag. Like in my mind, Arthur, he's just kind of an asshole, and I know that he over time he spoiler, sorry, but like he grows out of that asshole phase. But it just the game just took too long to get started, and I was just like, ugh, I got Kingdom Hearts coming out now. Like that's kind of like where I was at with it.
Where you at with that game?
I beat Kingdom Hearts. I beat Kingdom Hearts 3 within. I beat it like when it came out. I went right for it. Yeah. Like it's like, okay, I got to do it. I have some opinions about Kingdom Hearts 3. It's a lot of fun. And it's really good. I think it's a lot of fun and it's really good, but like I do feel like it fell flat in some places. But I'll let you be the decider of that, because the only thing is make sure that you've played at least 1 and 2.
Oh, I have.
Okay, great. And I also highly recommend watching like one of the many 30-40 minute videos on YouTube that go through the entire story, because all of the Kingdom Hearts games are relevant.
Yes.
All of them are absolutely relevant because there's just tons of backstory, but tons of side story. It's not just Sora anymore. So go and watch some of that stuff.
I
about.
did see a few of them, and they were even talking about the handheld games.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it's like, whew. So, but right now, as of right now, I think that the best game so far released this year, in my personal opinion, is Resident Evil 2. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that'll change. I'm hoping that'll change in the coming months. I know that, Borderlands 3 was just announced. Oh, Did you ever play those?
No, I didn't.
You never played Borderlands?
No, dude, I barely just.
That's right. You're in a way you're fresh to gaming, like really heavily gaming. Borderlands is really good. If you ever get Borderlands, we can play that too. But I've reserved like the really big edition for that. I dropped it $250 on that, the really big edition. Yeah. And then Days Gone comes out out the same day as Endgame.
Which I'm gonna get that one as well. When I went to go purchase the games that I just purchased, I was actually thinking of getting Resident Evil 2, but
you should get Resident Evil 2.
I'm going to, but the reason I didn't get it that day is because Days Gone is coming out.
Oh yeah,
and I don't want to like.
Well, yeah,
two different zombie games.
I feel you. But here's the thing, like they're so in their gameplay styles, they're so exponentially different that you could probably go back and forth from them and still have it just feel really good. So yeah. What else have you been up to?
Well, I mean, God of War. Dude,
God of War. So we can go back to that.
Yeah. So wait, what were your thoughts when you at the very end once you beat the game?
When I beat the game,
did you first of all did you see?
No, I because like I'm not as familiar with that folklore as like or like that mythology, religion, lore, whatever you want to call it. I'm not familiar with it, so like when that was announced, I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Like it was for me, it was like, whoa, what? But it was more like I'm curious as to where this is gonna go now.
Yes.
Like and Kratos poses a very interesting question at the very end of the game. It's like, okay, well, are you going to be Atreus or are you going to be Loki? You've got two identities now in a matter of speaking. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's up to you to decide what you're gonna do. And and people, there's a lot of speculation as to what's going to happen. There was that marking on the wall that showed Atreus killing Kratos or some kind of version of it, whether it be like metaphorical or literal.
Well, that's the thing. That image there, it could be interpreted in different ways.
Exactly. So and we won't know until God of War 5 or God of War 6, wherever they decide to take it.
I've heard from both sides, like he either kills him or he's reviving him somehow or something.
Mm-hmm. And I think and just to kind of, we can kind of get into like some theories here. And I think what would be really cool is, Kratos has had his time in the spotlight. And I think what's really cool is, Corey Barlog and all of those guys over there at Sony Santa Monica, they established a really great new character in Atreus. I really liked his character. And I think that in a way, it does feel like there's some grooming going on for Atreus to take over as the protagonist of the God of War series, and I would be absolutely okay with that, so long as Kratos got a proper send off.
Yeah,
that was appropriate for his character and for the story.
But I feel like there's still more story for him.
Oh, there's
especially
absolutely
with how they revealed all the other mythologies. In there, so I think that they might end up going to different lands.
Now, it is my understanding that the next one is still going to be mostly Norse.
I hope so, because there's still a lot.
There's a lot of Norse. We still have to deal with
we Ragnarok eventually.
And we still and we still have to deal with Thor and obviously Odin. And one thing that I really liked about the game is, you never see them. You never see Thor and you never see Odin, but you feel their presence.
Yes.
And I think that was really cool, just through the stories that Mimir was telling. And I think Mimir is a really great character for exposition.
My favorite, yeah.
The voice actor from Mimir does the reading of the God of War audiobook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the Mimir voice, and it's really cool.
That's
cool. It's really dope. I have it on my phone. I'll play a little bit for you
sure,
after we get done here. So, but yeah, I thought that was like really good how they did that, where they basically created these characters. Well, not created, but there's characters in the world that I've never seen, but like it's like they're there, like they're still there. Like, Thor's statue's there, and even though, like, I know that the world serpent eats it, but like there's still like the feet are still like looming, and then you have to go and you have to destroy another statue of Thor. Is it Thor that you destroy the statue of to get that loot? To get the loot,
the treasure.
And then like, and then Magni and Modi are always talking about Thor and Odin, and it's just like they're there. They're in the world. You feel their presence. It's, it does, in a way, it feels like you're being watched in the game, like you're being watched. Like looking back on it now, it's just like you're obviously being watched by Odin and Thor from afar, and they're not intervening just yet because something else is going down.
Well, I mean, once you get to that secret ending, you do see Thor.
Yeah, but the thing is, the question is that a vision or
it's a vision?
It's a vision, right?
Yes, because that was it said several years later, and
it's obvious like that it's not really several years later because they're all the same age.
Yeah, but usually the winter, what's it called, Fimbulwinter,
right,
lasts 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah, in Norse mythology.
Okay. So, and Fimbulwinter had started at the end of...
Yeah, but it actually started early because of
the actions of the game.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Again, like if you do know a little bit about Norse mythology, like it all makes sense, especially with the whole Loki reveal.
Yeah, and I think another thing that they did that was really cool, that just is like, okay, well, there's more coming to this series, is that they kept 2 of the realms blocked off.
Yeah.
They kept Svartalheim, the world of the dwarves, right? Is it Svartalheim?
I forgot.
I don't know.
Then they have Asgard.
And then Asgard's closed off. So it's like we're going some places in the next game. Like why put those there if we're not going to go there eventually. But the game was so good because it was a very good example of less is more.
What do you mean? How so?
Like
they didn't shove like every
they didn't like shove a whole bunch of shit down your throats. It was just like they I mean, what was great, like what was interesting, and a lot of people are like, oh well, there was a lack of bosses in there. I was like, well, okay, I get it. Like, but like what they're not trying to shove bosses down our throats. They're trying to.
Honestly, I didn't even like playing the game. That wasn't even a concern.
It wasn't even a concern of mine either. It was already
pretty difficult. Just dealing with some of the monsters, and especially the Valkyries.
Yeah, and the thing is, instead of like doing a bunch of like bosses and stuff, they just focus on story. Like the game. That's probably the most story driven game I've ever played, besides The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But even then, I do feel like God of War surpasses The Last of Us in a lot of storytelling elements.
Mm-hmm.
But The Last of Us is really good. The Last of Us is also another good example of less is more.
Right.
So what else are some of the other things that you liked about? I've been rambling on.
Let me see. Well, I did think it was interesting, the whole time jump thing with the World Serpent. Did you catch that?
What do you mean?
Because well, think of it. How is the World Serpent there if he's supposed to be the son of Loki?
Oh, well, isn't it implied that he got blasted backwards in time?
Yeah. So I feel like they're gonna do some time travel. Well, they have to, because again,
during Ragnarok,
it involves the giants, battling the Aesir or whatever.
Right, the Aesir gods.
Yeah. So that kind of threw me off guard, because when you go and dump her ashes at the end of the game, you see nothing but dead giants all around.
So you think that that's a time jump by going?
No, well, they're gonna have to somehow.
Oh.
If they're gonna keep it close to Norse mythology.
So you know more about this than I do.
Just a little bit. I mean, yeah, I'm not. But yeah, man. Like, let's get into maybe some theories of
what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I do see like a short time jump between this God of War and whatever the next God of War is going to be. I don't know if they're going to call it God of War 5 or have it with some subtitle.
Or
but
how was the other God of War games? Like, did they have subtitles?
It was just God of War 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then they decided, instead of putting God of War 4, they initially essentially did a soft reboot, and they just God of War, and I think that's great. I think that, but now it does create some confusion as to what the next titles are going to be called. Is it going to be called?
I think one of them might be called Ragnarok.
Probably. I like, maybe they'll find some other way of saying that, because the title Ragnarok is already taken by another major thing, and which is so. But maybe they will go that route, but I don't see that. I don't think Ragnarok's going to occur in the next game.
No, I don't think so either. I think there might be another 2 games, and then
I think this particular era will go another 2 games.
Yeah, I hope so too. But I think the next game might focus a lot on Atreus.
Oh, big time. I think it's kind of like with Spider-Man. I think the next game we're still going to have Peter Parker, and I think Peter Parker. Oh, did I say Spider-Man? I meant the next Spider-Man game.
Yeah, you said Spider-Man.
Oh, I did say. I'm getting ahead of myself. So with Spider-Man, you introduce Miles Morales, and
right.
I do think that there's going to be a lot more focus on Miles Morales in the next Spider-Man game, with Peter Parker still being a playable character. I mean, and there's a point to what I'm trying to say here and I'm not saying so. I think that Miles Morales will probably I think it'll be a 50-50 of playability. And mostly because I believe that Peter Parker is going to get the symbiote and go bad, and Miles Morales is going to be the one. That's just my kind of thought. The thought process, process of it. I think, because I do feel like the only way to have the symbiote is to, and I'm going to make a point here. Don't worry, there's a God of War point here. So, I think the whole point of having the symbiote words symbiote.
Well, according to the Venom movie, it can be pronounced.
Symbiote. Talk about a trash movie. So I think Miles Morales is going to be the one to help bring Peter back from getting the symbiote suit, because you can't have Venom without Peter Parker being the symbiote. Get the symbiote suit. Symbiote. Whatever words. So with that being said, I think that, like I said before, I do believe that God of War is grooming the God of War series is grooming Atreus to kind of take over, just as Spider-Man in the next one will be, Peter Parker will be grooming Miles Morales to take over. So I do think that there's going to be a lot more emphasis on Atreus. Whether he'll be a playable character is remain to be said, but I do think that there's going to be some heavy story and character development with Atreus as he's trying to figure out his Loki personality and like where he fits in the larger universe and where he resides. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I personally think that he might go evil, not completely.
You think Atreus will,
or like I guess like
well,
yeah, he'll be part of like an antagonist for a little bit.
He's definitely going to embrace. I do believe that he's going to embrace his Loki side.
Yes.
So I do think that he's something's going to go down there, and I don't know if he's necessarily going to go full on like evil, but I do think he's going to create some. There's definitely going to be some issues that he creates.
Yeah, or some mischief.
Right. And I think that like Papa Kratos is probably gonna be like, okay, well, you gotta chill out a little bit. Like he's probably gonna teach Atreus to find balance in like who in his balance between his Greek and his Norse personalities. Yeah. So,
which honestly, you kind of did see that a bit once he found out he was a god.
Yeah, he became a pain in the ass. Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, that kid's Sonny Suljic. He's talented. He's a skateboarder and he's an actor. He was in that movie mid-90s. Have you no? Oh, you should look. Hey Andrew, did you ever watch mid-90s? We should watch that shit tonight. We should find it. Okay, let's buy it. We'll go to Target later, see if it's there.
Right on.
What's up, guys? So Sonny Suljic, like, and here's another thing. So, one thing that I'm really liking that games are doing is embracing motion capture.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like,
I saw some of the behind the scenes and
like
pretty cool.
Like they in a way, The Last of Us sort of kickstarted that.
Really?
Several years ago. Yeah.
Was that one of the first games that?
I don't think it was one of the. It definitely wasn't one of the first games to do it. I mean, for crying out loud, the motion capture has been in effect with movies since since Lord of the Rings.
For sure.
Well, I'm talking about as far as motion capture animation.
Yeah.
But I feel like Neil Druckmann, who directed The Last of Us, he's like, well, we're going with motion capture because you can't capture real character movement just by animating it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not. You're making fake character, but with real character movement and real facial expressions, you can tell a much deeper story. And I feel like since then, a lot more games have been implementing motion capture into into some parts of the creative process.
Right.
And I think and you can tell what games have done it and what games have not done it. And most games are doing it now. Most games are doing some elements of motion capture, and I like that.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Absolutely. So what else? What other thoughts do you have on it? Like, what are some of your predictions as to what's going to happen next?
Well, they aren't really mine, but I've seen other people discuss about it.
Yeah.
One that I really like and I thought it was interesting is that it kind of might involve some time travel.
Mm-hmm.
That Kratos could possibly be Tyr.
Oh, the god that the
he was
sort
a
of
god of war.
He was a god of war, but more like in a way he was like a god of peace, right? Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Whatever. Like,
but yeah, I thought that was an interesting theory.
Yeah.
Because for one, like when you see that Muriel, whatever statue thing, whatever, where it looks like Atreus probably is killing
mm-hmm.
Kratos. You see him without his arm. which if you know anything about Tyr, is he lost his arm to
I'm gonna have to go back and check some stuff out.
Yeah, dude, you should.
See, the game is more fresh in your mind than it is mine.
It is, yeah.
So, I and you, yeah, whatever. But yeah, so yeah, and I've heard that theory before as well.
That would be perfect for him to if they once they finish the Norse mythology, for him to jump to different
something else.
Yeah, to like Egyptian mythology or whatever, because that's what in the game they explained it, that Tyr was able to travel to different lands.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think that would be really cool if they did do that. I also think I don't think that we're gonna see Odin in the next game either. I think Thor will be the main antagonist of the next game. I think he'll be the final boss. And I think another thing that was really cool too is that they didn't just jump right into the familiar people. I mean,
you started with Baldur. I didn't even know who.
Yeah, I mean, like even
was.
like the people creating the game were like, I mean, if you don't know who these characters are, I mean, like unless they said unless you're familiar with Norse mythology, you'll have no idea who these characters are. I mean, right now, and they even said that the extent to what people know about Norse mythology is in the Marvel movies. Yeah, you got Thor, Odin, and Loki. Like that's really it. And so, and that's kind of like that. Even beyond the Marvel movies. I mean, like growing up, I mean, I really only knew who Thor and Odin were just even as a kid from what I learned through whether I was reading a book or whatever I was being taught in class. Is just kind of like, oh well, like you got Thor and his father Odin, whatever, so like to see. And I even looked into some of these characters too. Like they're like, I think Magni and Modi are based off a singular person, and I think they just split that person into two people for the game. I don't know. I think I got that wrong, but even and then the dwarves. What the hell were their names again?
Brock and Sindri.
Brock and Sindri are loosely based off some other characters in the lore as well.
Yeah. I thought they were great too.
Oh yeah, Brock and Sindri are great.
Sindri was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Freaking germaphobe.
Well, they were all great. Like they were both really cool. Like they both had their quirks that were really awesome. And that was another thing that about the less is more. There just isn't a whole lot of characters in the game. I mean, you just know. I think there's like less than 10 major characters in the game.
Yeah, but you spend a lot of time with them that you don't need.
Yeah, you don't need. Yeah,
to be honest.
I also think
I think what's her name?
Freya will be an issue, definitely. I don't think that she'll be the main antagonist of the next game, but I think that I wouldn't be surprised if like she's definitely gonna she's definitely out for Kratos and Atreus now, and I think that'll be really interesting. But I do think that Thor will be the main of number 5.
Yeah, it looks like that. Especially with that secret ending thing. I don't think they're gonna actually face him right off the bat like they did with Baldur, which is implied in that vision. My theory is that once Atreus wakes up, he'll probably tell Kratos, and they'll start the game from there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
didn't he? Oh, that's right. He didn't wake up. It just cut to black, right? It cut to black at the secret ending, and then
several years later.
Let's see what else. I don't know. Like we could sit here and speculate all day, but the only people that know are those who. I'm hoping that it's in development. I'm hoping that they're actually working on it. I mean,
I'm sure, especially with the success of.
Yeah, but I know that Cory Barlog was saying that he wanted to work on something else next, but I think he probably knows better. Like, just like Insomniac games with Spider-Man, they're gonna have a hard time going back to like something like Ratchet and Clank now.
Yes.
Unless they open up another studio. Yeah, because they just have the one studio. Insomniac is just one studio right now. unless they decided to open up another studio. I think they're gonna be stuck on Marvel games for a while.
Probably. I mean, honestly, I would be okay with that.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool if Insomniac did Iron Man.
A lot of people have been wanting an Iron Man.
Right now the closest thing you get to Iron Man is Anthem, and nobody likes Anthem.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good that's definitely Anthem is definitely what and people might hate me for saying this, but Anthem, the mechanics of how you fly and move around, besides the game being like broken, like that is definitely what Iron Man should feel like in that game, in my opinion. But yeah, the game isn't that good. And I'm not just saying that. I do enjoy playing the game, but I recognize it as garbage. Just right. Yeah. So, yeah. So I was actually kind of envisioning what an Iron Man game would look like, and I can see a gadget wheel,
like in the hub.
Yeah, I could see like a gadget wheel, and I can see like an open, maybe even a bigger open world than let's say someplace like Manhattan, because I feel like Iron Man needs more space to go places, or maybe more like several smaller open worlds for different parts of the game, because I think that Iron Man needs to be able to go more places than just Manhattan.
Yeah, and honestly, that would be a good way for them to explore his villains.
Yeah.
Because with the movies,
okay, so we're gonna let's go off video game topics for a little while. You and I, we made it a habit of going to opening nights of these Marvel movies, and since I moved out of this area, we haven't been doing that. We have the kind of friendship where we probably won't talk to each other for several weeks, but occasionally we'll hit each other up and be like, "Yo, what's up, dog?" Pretty and much. We'll talk about whatever. Usually it is video game or Marvel related, and since I've moved away, what do we had we never did go see Into the Spider-Verse together, but we have talked about it. And Into the Spider-Verse was great, but I guess the big one would be Captain Marvel. So we're going off. Let's go off video games for a little while, and we'll talk about Captain Marvel. What do you think of Captain Marvel? You and I, we touched base on a little bit, but it's only was through text, and you can't really have much of a conversation through text. Okay. So what do you think about Captain Marvel?
I thought it was okay.
Okay,
but there were some things that I hated.
Right, and you told me that they took some heavy creative liberties with the Skrulls, right?
Skrulls, yes, that was one of my biggest issues with it.
Right,
is that in the comic books they're
definitively bad in the comic books, right?
Yeah, but I think I don't know if it was Kevin Feige who stated that that in the MCU they are mostly bad. It's just that that small group wasn't. But they did a twist that I didn't like. It turned out that the Skrulls were the good guys, and what are they called? I forgot the alien race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what the Kree. They were Kree, right? Yeah, they were Kree.
That the Kree were, or at least those Kree were evil.
Yeah, those Kree.
I was really upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because there's some good stories.
I think it was just that one, though, right? Jude Law's character, he was just the one.
No, it was that whole team. She fought against them.
Well, but I'm talking about, but I don't think the whole, I think, okay. But I'm talking about. I guess I'm just thinking about just Jude Law. I know I know you're talking about the team, but I think it was mostly just Jude Law trying to get that technology from that captain, right, who developed the hyperspace.
Oh, Marvel,
yeah.
Yeah, they changed that too. In the comics, he's a male character. I didn't really care for that. That was okay. I wish they would have explored Marvel more in the movie. But another thing too I didn't like, and this was how Nick Fury lost his eye.
Yeah, that was a little weird. That's kind of, it was a little.
I thought that was.
It's not, maybe it's anticlimactic isn't the word, but it's not what you were expecting. So you're just kind of what? He got his eye scratched, and now it's is it weirdly infected now because it's an alien scratch? The cat's an alien, by the way.
A Florican.
And spoiler alert to Captain Marvel. Too late. Whatever. Yeah, that was interesting. And and it's the moment that you're waiting for the entire movie, right? Like
pretty much, yeah.
Essentially, it's just kind of like, okay, well, here's Nick Fury with an eye. We're gonna, unless they're gonna, do it in a sequel, which obviously they're not.
No, but it was kind of hinted out throughout the movie too. Whenever he gets close to the cat.
Yeah, right. Like
you're
it's like
oh crap! Wait,
it's like what's gonna happen here?
No,
but so yeah, it was a little weird. But like his eye isn't technically destroyed though, right? Like he just keeps it covered up because it's all fucked up, right? He can.
Well,
I think he can still see through the eyeball.
Did
right?
you see the? No. Did you see the post?
I didn't watch the last post end credits. I just saw
okay,
but I know what happens. Kind of like the cat spits up the Tesseract, right?
Yes, but before that, Coulson brings like this little box of different eyeballs.
Oh, that's right.
For him.
So did he?
I guess he lost the whole eye.
Oh, okay. So maybe I missed that part of it.
Well, they don't really explain it. Like,
I think I had to pee during that part too, and I was kind of ready to go.
But yeah, I thought the movie was okay. It wasn't the best. I thought at the very end when she just goes like Super Saiyan, which is called binary.
Okay.
Like she just removes the chip, and then all of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
She turns Super Saiyan. Not really, but
I still
thought that was
one of my favorite things about movies that take place in the past is there's usually a really cool soundtrack. So it's like hearing all of those mid 90s songs, because the movie took place in 1995. If you do the math, she disappeared in 89. She came back 6 years later, 1995. And like after the movie, I checked the dates in which those songs were released. I was like, okay, these songs better have come out either in or before 1995. So I did that, and I was like, okay, cool, some really great 90s music in there. As someone who grew up in the 90s. So it was really dope.
I didn't feel that great about having the No Doubt song. At the very
dude,
end.
I thought that was sick as fuck. I thought
it
was like, oh man, because that's actually one of my favorite No Doubt songs.
Yeah, I mean it's a great song, but I just felt like it was out of place.
Really? Oh man, I just it's like when that particular like that intro, I would butcher it if I tried to mimic it right now, so I'm not going to. But like the intro to "I'm Just a Girl" by No Doubt, it's just like, for me, it's just kind of like, first of all, like I said, it's one of my favorite No Doubt songs, and it's just like, for me, it's just a really cool intro, because like it goes, it's just like this really cool build up, and then all of a sudden you're in this banger of a song, and I felt like it was, for me, I did feel maybe it wasn't necessarily maybe like lyrically, maybe it wasn't the best song to put there, but like I feel like with the melodic part of it, I felt was appropriate for this action part. But I mean, we can disagree. Yeah. It's totally fine. But I thought it was cool just simply because like, oh shit, my favorite No Doubt song is playing during this fight scene. I'm stoked.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I love the song too, and I wish it would have been placed in somewhere else. But it's just the fact that. Like, she's about to go up against a crew that she's been friends with for 6 years, and then you just put this upbeat song. It's just like, wait, you're about to fight your friends.
But but the song, I don't know what the lyrics are about, but is the song just about being a badass girl?
Probably.
And I think that's probably what they were going at for it.
Well, yeah, I mean.
And I do, like, I'm really happy that nobody died in that movie. Like, no main characters died. No like protagonist side of the characters died, which I'm really happy about. Because like, now I'm gonna get a little unpolitically correct here, but let's talk about history in films. In history, there's a running gag that the black person dies, the African American person dies, and I was like, Marvel, I swear to God, if you kill off her best friend, I'm probably not gonna go see Endgame, because I would be just really pissed off. Mm-hmm. So back to being politically correct. But I'm really happy that like everybody, because it just would have been a sad bummer of an ending if like her best friend like kicked the bucket, because I felt like there were certain parts of the movie that I felt like were kind of leading up to her possibly dying. Because like she, I can't leave my daughter because what if something happens to me? I was like, oh shit, is that foreshadowing right there? So I'm really happy that they kept her alive. I don't know. I see that kind of stuff. I pay attention to that kind of stuff in movies, which is weird. So are you super stoked for Endgame or what?
Dude. Oh my.
I know, right?
Yeah, dude. Like
I've been making sure that I'm like super safe on the road. It's like, damn it, I will be happy if I die after Game of Thrones ends next month.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm good because I'll have seen Endgame and I'll have seen the end of Game of Thrones. So
Yeah,
I'm good. So I'm making sure that I don't fucking like have any kind of problems in my life
That's
to where
good, man.
to
Yeah,
where I might.
You definitely don't want to miss Ant-Man going up Thanos' butt.
Oh man, that's the stupidest thing. It's like, god damn it! Like, people,
I know,
why do you gotta
but it's
ruin
become
that?
a meme.
It's become a horrible meme. It's become a terrible meme. Yo, Andrew, come in here and check our lighting, bro. I love you. It's starting to get a little dark, but yo, what's up, my guy? Yo, say something for the folks at home.
Your lighting is definitely dark.
Yeah, turn that shit up. Yeah. So, what do you like? Once again, we're gonna, just because like you and I haven't talked about this stuff for a long time, and I feel like even though this is a gaming channel, I could talk about whatever I want on my own channel. So, what do you think is going to happen? Endgame has a whopping runtime of 182 minutes. That is 3 hours and 2 minutes long. You're going to be in that theater for 4 hours because of the trailers and the movie itself. So, what do you think is going to go down in Endgame? Thanks, my guy.
Well, I think there's definitely going to be some time travel.
Oh,
or at
definitely.
least some
There's
time
definitely
jumps for sure.
There's going to be some time jumps for sure.
Yeah, for sure, some time jumps, as you can clearly see in the.
I honestly
trailers.
believe that when Ant-Man shows up at the and keep in mind, and we have to keep in mind that that Disney and the Russo brothers, they've made it clear that they do some deceiving in the trailers by putting in completely fake scenes entirely. So I personally think that when Ant-Man, whether this scene is, let's hopefully this scene is real. So when Ant-Man shows up hey guys, I'm at the gate, I personally think that that's several years I personally think that's several years in the future. I think that's been like a few years. I think he was stuck I think maybe to him, he was only in the quantum realm for like maybe an hour, but I think my guess is that he got sucked into a time vortex. That's, hint number one, time vortexes, and I think he gets spit out.
Yeah, I mean, I
several
think
years
that's
in the
definitely going to play a role. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dropped that in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
What, like, I watched Infinity War the other day with my mom because I need, she's the one I'm gonna go see Endgame with. So, I was thinking about it, like they did it. It's like, why leave Rocket and Nebula alive? Like I feel like that's a very interesting choice for like, they wiped out the rest of the Guardians.
Right.
You've got Nebula and Rocket. Like what? I'm wondering, like, why didn't they like leave? I feel like I know that like, okay, well, we need probably keeping some smaller characters around is more important than keeping some of the bigger around. But I do feel like maybe like it would have been more interesting if like Peter Quill was kept alive, because like, it's going to be his goal to take down Thanos, to try to reverse stuff, to get his team back and hopefully Gamora back. But like
I think that's the reason why they took him out.
Because of that.
They want to focus more on the original 6.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And like, I do like that they did that, because this is, in a way, this is the end of an era for the original 6.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like, I'm more concerned about what's going on with Ant-Man. Like
you mean him being stuck?
Yeah, I mean, like, because for me, like, Ant-Man was the breakout. For me, Ant-Man was the breakout character of, was that Phase 2 or Phase 3? Was he at the beginning of the first Ant-Man was Phase 2, right?
I can't remember.
He was right after Infinity War. He was right after.
War.
Ant-Man.
Before.
Ant-Man. The first Ant-Man movie was the end of Phase 2 because he came in after Age of Ultron. So
that's right.
Ant-Man was the last movie of Phase 2. So I think he was the breakout character of Phase 2. And I've just found him to be super interesting. I don't know. I think Paul Rudd still really, they did a good job with picking Paul Rudd because he just really does a good job of doing the whole underdog kind of situation. So, and like you can't have a cliffhanger like that with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like you've literally got a character stuck, and he's stuck for in our time he's stuck for 6 months.
Right.
Like. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp was the last one that you and I went to, probably the last one that you and I saw together, right?
I think so.
Before I moved. So it's like you can't just leave a character hanging like that. That's like the worst kind of cliffhanger ever. like all of I mean, I guess like Thor Ragnarok kind of had a semi cliffhanger with them because basically the end of Thor Ragnarok, chronologically is right where Infinity War starts.
You're right.
So, but that wasn't as big of a cliffhanger as leaving somebody literally stuck somewhere. He's stuck. Like, how is he going to get out of there? Like,
well, how do you think he's going to get out? Well,
I personally, I think that it has something to do with the time vortexes because obviously, unless they did put a failsafe into his suit to where he can pull himself out, but like,
I don't think
but like if that was there, he would have just been like, okay, well, I'm coming back up. Where are you guys at? And they would have been like popped out and be like, well, where the fuck is everybody? So something's going to happen to where I think he gets thrown into it. I think he gets, man, we don't even know. Like, God, my head hurts just thinking about it. But did you watch the clip? Did you watch the clip that was released the other day?
Which one?
There was like an actual 1 minute clip where they're like like basically they're just kind of standing around and talking, but it's
of Infinity. I mean Endgame.
Endgame, yeah. And
isn't that the intro, like the first whatever minutes of the movie? I think.
Well, it said the clip starts with someone saying that he used the stones again.
Again. Really, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, maybe I'm quoting it, and we can watch it after this. But
I don't think so because that gauntlet was pretty broken afterwards.
Oh man!
Remember when he used it? It was all fried, and it was like fused into his arm or something.
Oh, should I bring this up? Should I bring it up?
Yeah, it kind of exploded.
Beauty of heaven. Okay, so
I didn't even notice that.
Right?
When I first saw it.
So
what was she looking at though that made her ask that?
I don't know, but she was looking at some hologram of the planet. That's what it looked like.
Right.
That's what it looked like to me.
Earth?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Maybe, probably. That's what I'm thinking.
Why would they be recording or looking at other planets?
Right. So Thanos is like going crazy. I think.
What the hell did he do?
I don't know.
Because I don't think he would wipe more people off of the freaking face of the planet.
Well, something's going on, and where do you think that takes place in the movie? Do you think that takes place?
From what I heard, is fairly in the beginning, because you see, is that when Scarlet Johansson, she has her blonde hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still, so yeah, that means it's gonna be pretty early.
Now the Russo brothers have been saying that like all the promotion material is in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Right.
I think that's bullshit. I call bullshit.
Well, yeah, because there's obviously a lot of some time jumps in there, like more notably with her hair, Black Widow's hair. You see it getting longer and getting red again. But I think they're gonna definitely. I mean, just based on what we've seen so far from all these trailers, that they're gonna end up going after Thanos more than once.
Right.
Right.
Because they probably keep messing up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then from what we know in the past with like having images of them, obviously from the first Avengers movie, you see Loki there, you see Thor with his original hair and everything. Same thing with Cap.
So I think they're going back to the Battle of New York.
Yeah, but the question is if they're physically going back or
if it's one of those that
barf technology thing.
The barf technology.
I don't know, but that's interesting though.
Oh man, good stuff,
dude. There's gonna be 3 hours long, man.
I know, right? No, I'm gonna have to pee like 3 times. I was telling my coworker that I'm probably gonna go see it twice opening weekend, because I'm gonna need to get up and go pee during different times in the movies. That way, I get every little bit.
You have to plan this out, man. Just like when you go into surgery, they tell you not to eat or drink. Like
I was telling my mom. I was like, okay, well, I got to figure this out because I did when I was a kid and when my bladder was significantly weaker. I did get through all of Return of the King, without peeing.
And how long was that?
I was like 3.5 hours long.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the thing is, it seems like it's now maybe my bladder's stronger now, or maybe it's weaker, but
we're getting old, man.
We're getting old. We're all, I'm almost 30, but I'm definitely but the thing is I don't remember the last time I've gone into a movie and not had to get up and go pee during like even just an hour and a half, 2 hour long movie. Like I'm like getting up and I'm having to go fucking pee and it sucks. But I'm a fast peer. I usually can do it in like 30 seconds, like just real quick. It's like boom, boom. And
30 seconds is a lot.
30 seconds is a lot of time. 30 seconds is, but 30 seconds is maybe it isn't. It could be quicker, but like I try to just do it as quick as possible. I go in there and I push.
You might just have to bring a diaper, man.
I know, right? So, or a catheter, find some way to just like shove a fucking tube down my pee hole. We're getting graphic, folks. Not like anybody's really, not too many people are probably watching it, but whatever. So, yeah. But yeah, like, what's another, the colostomy bag? I don't know.
Either way, well, here's another question too, because like I remember us talking about how we heard that there is going to be a bigger threat.
Right.
And
you think it's death?
No. No, I don't think they're going to go to that.
Deadpool? No.
But that's another, question that I definitely want to know.
Who the bigger threat is?
Yeah, I'm like excited to know because that could potentially be the next big bad for the next
big bad.
Phases.
Yeah. Who? Yeah.
I mean, the only person I can think of right now is Galactus, but as of finishing the movie, they didn't have the rights to.
Yeah, the X-Men. So I've heard rumors that this might be the last movie titled as the Avengers. I've heard that I've heard rumors that it might be a long time before we see another Avengers movie, but it's possible that the next team could be called something else.
New Avengers.
That's with Captain Marvel taking over as.
It seems like they're doing it that way.
Who do you think's who? So there's heavy implication, and we've talked about it a little bit, I'm sure. So there's heavy implication that one of the main, you got two mains. You got, I guess in a way, three mains, but I feel like Thor is going to live because Thor's popularity has boomed since Ragnarok.
Yes.
And I think that we're going to see Taika Waititi. Did I say his name right? I think he's going to, he in a way, he rejuvenated Thor in such a way that I think more people want to see Thor now.
Mm-hmm.
Thor come back. And I do want to see that because I thought that, I did feel like, even though I wasn't fully impressed with Ragnarok to begin with, I watched it again. I was like, wow, this is actually really a lot more colorful and a lot more funny and a lot more entertaining he was no longer this brooding kind of piece of shit Thor, because he was kind of an asshole before that. In a matter of speaking, I know that's probably not the best way to put it, but so Thor is off the table. I don't think Thor's going to die, and that leaves Captain America and Iron Man. So, who do you think? Which of the two do you think is going to bite the bullet?
Honestly, I hope neither of them.
Mhm.
But if I had to choose, probably Captain America.
See, I'm leaning that direction too, and just simply because Chris Evans has said a lot of stuff about wanting to move on to being behind the camera, so on and so forth. But the thing is, what's interesting is I find it looks to me that Robert Downey Jr. has too much fun being Tony Stark. I think
don't blame him.
I think he likes being Tony Stark, even in a supporting
Role.
role. And I think that, especially with him being the original, in this particular universe, he's the original. He was the first. He was the first character introduced, within the movies. So I think that he's going to just kind of be like this character that pops in and out all the time, whether he puts on the Iron Man suit again for 5 minutes or none at all. I think he's just going to pop in. Every so often, he's going to be like a Nick Fury-esque type character, just like come in, give their wisdom, and then disappear. So that's just what I think is going to happen. I think that Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark will always be present. But I do think that a different character will probably take over like an Iron Man role. There's a lot of rumors that kid from Iron Man 3 is going to do it, but it's like, come on, like if he was going to be bigger in the universe, he would have been bigger in the universe. So yeah, I think that I don't think any other characters are going to die. I think just one of the main three is going to die, I think.
Yeah, again, if I had to bet my money, it'll be Captain America.
It'll be Captain America. Or he will disappear from the universe in a matter in which he can't come back. There's speculation that maybe he's going to get blasted back in time and actually finally be able to live out his days in the 40s. But that might be a stretch. Yeah. So, in other, and I know, in other news, James Gunn is back for Guardians 3, which is fantastic. I'm very pleased about that. Probably because Disney was like, wait, we can't give him to Disney. We can't give him to DC. What are you doing? Like, what are we doing?
He's still gonna be.
He's still gonna do it. Yeah. And so, and then there was one other thing that I wanted to bring up, and this is not Marvel, but like this is Shazam. Shazam was fucking great.
I'm surprised you actually liked it.
Well, I'm not against DC movies. I just want them to be good. You know what I mean? And so far, not all of them have just, I know that DC is probably a little bit more darker of a kind of comic book stuff, even though, like, I guess I'm just mostly just thinking of like Batman, but they've established this rapport of being dark and sinister and just like, blah. It's like, have some fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the movies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I really enjoyed Shazam.
And here's the thing too: is I've been a Zachary Levi fan for
Chuck or before.
I was introduced to him with Chuck. I don't know what I don't know what he was in before Chuck, but since Chuck, he has become a staple within like sort of like the nerd culture community, whatever you want to give it, the comic book community, just sort of the pop culture community in general. He's one of those great staples within it, and in my mind he has needed he wasn't used in the Marvel movies when he should have been. I think he should have been a main character in the Marvel movies. I think they should have given him his own. Basically, what I'm saying is Disney and Marvel lost out on using a great, fun actor in possibly even a bigger role within the universe. You know what? Did I phrase that correctly?
Yeah.
He should have been his own superhero. He shouldn't have been, part of the Warriors 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. and the way that he was killed off in Thor Ragnarok, it was like it's just like what all you've had these characters that were like in all the other movies, and all of a sudden like floom 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 they're dead. It's like, oh come on, like that pissed me off. That put like just sort of this like sour taste in my mouth from the beginning when I first saw Ragnarok. So back to Shazam is like Zachary Levi is probably the most deserving to get his own superhero movie, and I'm glad that he finally did.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if he is just the superhero and not the alter ego, it's great. And I think they did, and he's always played a man child. So it was really good that they picked someone who's good at being a man child to basically play a child, because that's essentially what Billy Batson is. He's a teenager and he's like kind of freaking out. And so I thought like Shazam was just, and then what was another really interesting thing was when I was watching Shazam was there was certain things would happen in the movie. I'm like, Disney would never put that in one of their movies.
Yeah, it was pretty dark for
it got a little,
movie.
it got, I think, some people got their heads bitten off by like some
and thrown
out of buildings
windows
and shit. It's like, whoa.
But that was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie.
It was in a way, it was refreshing.
It was
like, I get it. Disney has certain rules that they like to abide by because they were, initially they were a family children's organization. So it'll be really interesting to see what they decide to do with the merger and Deadpool, because it has been announced that Deadpool is the only X-Men continuing with movies being produced. The X-Men Dark Phoenix is the last X-Men movie for some time. And so but Disney has all these strict rules to where they, everything needs to, I don't remember the last time I've ever seen them put out. I don't think I don't think a branch of Disney has ever put out an R-rated film.
Maybe.
I don't know. So I'm wondering if, so the question is like, will 20th Century Fox still be kind of like this, kind of like still be their own thing?
Yeah,
because like the Disney name is never put on Marvel Studios movies.
Right.
It just says Marvel Studios.
Yeah,
it doesn't Disney.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do a similar thing with Fox. That way they can keep their rated R stuff, especially Deadpool.
Yeah. Did you see Once Upon a Time Deadpool, the PG-13?
No, I didn't.
No, I wonder how that was. I haven't heard anything about that, so who knows. Well, we've kind of talked about Marvel and stuff for a long time now. Let's and we have been talking for a good hour or so here. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else on your mind? Any movies, video games, anything else?
No, man. I think.
No. Well, then let's we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody who's watching, thanks for stopping and watching. Sam, thank you for coming by again.
Pleasure,
And even though as you can tell, this apartment, we're in the process of moving out of it. I'm still gonna, Andrew's still gonna be out here, so we'll still find time to hang out. I'm still gonna come down here frequently, and I plan on having you on again.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, cool, Sam. Well, thank you. All right, everyone. Catch you on the next one. Have a good day.